everyone, I hope everyone is doing well today. If you're on my channel, you are in the right place because my channel is all about doing the inner work to become our best self. As we enter 2026 and it's January, of course, and in January everyone is so motivated to accomplish all their goals. And as we know, especially when we see the gym, for example, that as the year continues to progress, less and less people are going to the gym. And those people who had those beginning goals often fall off. And as I was reflecting on why I have fallen off of some of my goals in the past years, it wasn't really the lack of discipline. It wasn't really the lack of wanting to do that said thing. It was because of meeting resistance. Now, of course, when we are accomplishing our goals or striving to accomplish our goals, we can always depend on motivation because motivation can waver. Some days you're not gonna feel like it. Other days you will feel very inspired to do that said action. So what we need to make sure that we have as a firm foundation is discipline. But beyond that discipline, we really need to think about how our brain works and what we tell ourselves when we meet that resistance. Because a lot of times when we do have that resistance or something doesn't work out the way that we thought that it would or the way that we hope that it would, it can deter us from the discipline that we need in order to maintain that said goal or that said action steps to get to that said goal. And as a person that has struggled with anxiety my entire life and just kind of hid it away from other people, it's really important to really think about the things and the thoughts that you tell yourself when you do meet that resistance or you do hit those roadblocks, because those roadblocks aren't necessarily telling you that that said thing isn't meant for you. It may just be a call to action to do the inner work and the shadow work to reach beyond what that threshold of what you thought you were capable of, because our brains are really good at tricking us into thinking that we don't deserve something when something doesn't go our way. And as someone with anxiety, a lot of times when things even are going right, my brain used to especially tend to think something was gonna happen, like the other shoe was gonna drop, or I was gonna get sick, or what if I get cancer and I die, like just something so extreme, because my brain couldn't compute that good things are happening. And I've had a really good last quarter, and a lot of that was because I really trained my brain to adjust the way I thought about roadblocks and when things didn't work out and challenges that I was presented with. And if you come from a hard upbringing or you just come from a life of having a lot of significant challenges that have really dampered your self-esteem or just made you feel like maybe you're not worthy of good things, it's gonna take you some time. Like, just telling yourself certain things may not be enough for a while, and it wasn't for me. And so that's why on my channel I really talk about doing the inner work, and I really stress the fact that it's gonna take you more time than some other people. It may take you way longer than it did your friend or Joe Schmo or a celebrity that you see to really reach that moment in your brain where you go, I am meant for good things. And so practice makes perfect. And by practicing these tools and these affirmations I'm going to share with you, step by step, little by little, you will find yourself not allowing the challenges, the roadblocks, the resistance to stop you and your discipline from reaching where you want to be. It's really important to train your brain to know that you are worthy of good things and that good things can happen to you. Because if it can happen to these other people, to this Joe Schmo, to your friend, to the celebrity, then of course it can happen to you. I saw this segment as I was trying to like figure out what I was going to talk about. I have a number of like topics that I just keep in my phone of like, okay, like maybe I'll talk about this one day. I'll talk about this like little aha moments that I have. And this segment came right on time and I was like, yep, that's what I'm gonna talk about. It was this interview of Diana Ross where she was talking about how our brain is always gonna think good and bad things, but it's our job to focus on the good. And I really understood that and had a major like, yeah, that's so important, especially when you're finding challenges and you have those roadblocks, because your brain's always gonna say either I'm worthy or I'm not. And it's your job to always focus on the wait, I'm worthy, and not let what you see in the 3D world affect what you know that you deserve. Because again, where your thoughts go, energy flows. And so if you focus on the good things, then the energy will flow to those good things and align you with more good things. But if you focus on the bad, then you're gonna just meet more bad things. And I know that you have plenty of examples in your life where you had a bad day and the day just kept getting worse and worse because you just continue to pour out negativity. You continue to complain about little things, and then more little things happen. Like, it just spirals out of control. But if you take that moment and snap yourself out of it and go, wait, no, I'm gonna make this day great, that day goes more smoothly than it would if you just continue to think negatively. Also, if you hear that noise, that is my cat's toy. He's down there playing with his new mouse toy. I got him for Christmas. So I'm kind of trying not to get distracted. But anyway, that is actually the perfect example of resistance. Like, no, my cat's not a challenge. No, it's not really a roadblock, but it is a distraction. And this distraction could make me feel like, okay, I'll just record later. No, I'm just gonna continue. I'm gonna work beyond the distraction and get this video done. So the first tool that I use is my quote, anything can happen. And obviously that's not a quote that I made up, but it's something that I tell myself, especially when I make new goals or I want to reach a new ceiling or just increase the height of the ceiling, you know, metaphorically. That is something that I tell myself, because I used to, when I would see like something on TikTok or a Pinterest or just something that someone had, I would say like, that can't work out for me. Like, why, like that's not gonna work out. Like, I would try not to get my hopes up, and I would tell myself, don't get your hopes up because you might not get it. So now, instead of telling myself, don't get your hopes up, I say anything could happen, because if it could happen to that person, why shouldn't it happen for me? That person is just showing me that it's possible, and they're not the only person that deserves that. Like, no one is reinventing the wheel. Everything is happening to multiple people. Like, that's not a thing that's only happening for them. Yes, in that specific way, it's happening for them, but in general, like, no, good things happen to many people. And so I should be one of those people. I am worthy of good things. So I just tell myself anything can happen. So that's just a way that I shift my brain out of that automatic resistance and my anxiety spiraling and telling myself that I'm not gonna get it, like, or that good thing's not gonna happen for me. So that's something that I would really encourage you to use when you have those moments in your brain where you're like, oh, I would really love that. And then your brain tries to tell you, but you don't deserve it. Or how could you ever get that? Or like any negative thing, just say anything could happen because I'm worthy. Anything can happen because I'm worthy. So I'm adding that because I'm worthy part on there, because that can train your brain to remember, oh, I am worthy, so I can have anything that I want. Another tool that I really rely on is my faith. So I believe in a higher power. If you don't, then this might not be the channel for you. I call it by many names, but for this specific reason, I'm gonna call it my spirit team, because that's what I love to call it. People call it source, they call it God, the higher power, the most high, Allah, whatever you prefer, utilize that. But for me, I call it my spirit team because I just believe that my angels, my ancestors, God is all working all in one in tandem to help me to have the best life. And so I really rely on them, and I pray quite often, and I remind myself that God is not human, right? My spirit team, they aren't human beings who are finicky about what I get and what I don't get. Like, they want the best for me. They are just waiting for me to know that I deserve the best too. I have a video on this as well if you'd like to watch it. It's about basically like just remembering that people and spirit team are two different things. Like, you can't always rely on people, but you can always rely on your spirit team. And so if I can always rely on my spirit team, then they're gonna bring me everything that I ask for. So I remind myself, I get everything that I ask for. Kathleen Cameron said that one day, and it resonated with me so much, because I was always like, but I asked for things, so why shouldn't I get what I asked for? So I remind myself, I get everything that I asked for, and it's either this or it's something better. And I trust that if I didn't get this specific thing, it's because something better is coming for me. So that's another affirmation that you can put in your head. Not only can anything happen to me because I'm worthy, anything can happen to me because I get everything that I asked for. And that is what I asked for. So it's either this or something better, and trusting that that something better is coming. And the more that you are able to close that gap between your anxiety and your ego and your brain telling you what you aren't worthy of, and reminding yourself of what you are worthy of, and shifting to that, the quicker it can come to you. And I truly believe that because I'm a living example of that. I'm a realtor. If you're new to my channel, then you don't know that, obviously. For people who aren't new to my channel, then you probably heard me say this before. But there were times, and there have been times, because entrepreneurship is the most testing like act of faith for me, like, because this is such a business of faith. You aren't like, this isn't a job where you're getting like a steady income. Like, I rely on myself and my spirit team for my income, and I just trust that things are working out for me. But there were times where I used to really get hard on myself when something didn't work out. And so last year I started telling myself, well, really 2024, because I'm like, oh yeah, it is 2026. So 2024, I started telling myself, oh well, what's next? Instead of getting bent up out of shape about something not working out, I would tell myself, oh well, what's next? Because if that client, just because that client didn't work out, doesn't mean that there aren't a million other people who are willing to work with me, who want to work with me, who are looking for an agent just like me, who are excited to work with me, who are ready to close ASAP. And so the quicker I shifted, the easier things got, and the quicker things came back to me. So I truly believe in it because it has happened to me so many times when I have been able to remind myself that this is not a defining moment of what I deserve and who I am. This thing happened and this was awful and it wasn't great, but that's just getting out of the way for better doors to open. Choose to have faith that if you're worthy and your spirit team knows that you're worthy, they've always known that you're worthy and they want the best for you, then why wouldn't you get everything you want out of life? That is a secret sauce. Now, of course, like I said, that doesn't mean that you're not gonna have those negative thoughts. And there are days where I have more negative thoughts than other days. But instead, again, of ruminating on it, I shift my focus to something else. A tool that I love, and I'll name a few things that you can do, a few things that work for me to shift your focus beyond affirmations and just feeling worthy, is future self journaling. And this is something that I am so passionate about because I really do this so often. Like, sometimes I will journal like in present tense, but a lot of times it'll be future self journaling, because again, you're closing that gap between who you are and what you want to be. So I would say shift the focus to doing something that future you would be proud of. So how would future you respond or act in this moment? If something doesn't go the way that you anticipated it to, or you have a thought that is a negative thought that's ruminating, how would future you handle this? Future you isn't going to continue to ruminate on it. No, future you has too many things to do. Future you is making so much money. Future you has plans. Future you has things going on, honey. So no. Future you is not focusing on that. So what are you gonna do instead? Maybe go to the gym. Maybe meditate. Maybe do some yoga or Pilates at home. Maybe go for a walk. Pet your cat. Listen to some great positive tunes. Maybe you feel like I'm actually burnt out and I need to take a nap. That works too. Or watching a TV show, coloring, doing something mindful, washing dishes, cleaning your home. Just doing something that's gonna take the focus off of that negative feeling. And really asking yourself, again, what would future me do in this scenario? And when it comes to future self journaling, a good example of this lesson plan, it's not really a lesson plan, but this lesson on like relieving your anxious mind of those resistant thoughts is by journaling just that. I remember such and such day when I was so anxious about XYZ. And this is what I did instead. And I started to feel so much better. And now I handle things so differently. Now I don't even like ruminate so much on it. Like, I have changed so much and I'm so grateful because look at all these good things that have happened because I didn't focus on that. Really put yourself in that future tense and what you would want to happen. So for example, let's say that I had a client, right? I had a buyer client who was like, let's say like they were gonna buy a house that's like $350,000, right? and instead of them buying the house, like something happened and they last minute can't close, like they got a loan denial letter, and I was already banking on that money. Like we got past all the contingencies and you're almost to closing, you're like, yes, this is gonna happen, and then it goes completely away. You could, instead of choosing to be like so bent out of shape about it, and I get it, like the money is amazing, and to just have money that you expect it to not come is just heart-wrenching. But for example, I'm gonna say, like, I used to get so anxious, or I was so anxious when this deal didn't close, but instead of focusing on that, I shifted into what's next. I started lead generating instead, or I contacted some other clients, or I went on MLS or Zillow and saw this house that could be perfect for this person. And that person loved the house and they ended up being a $500,000 buyer instead. And we closed within 15 days and it was amazing. Just shift your brain, and it doesn't have to be true at that moment. But the more that you focus on the good and you just make those good case scenarios, those things will happen. And it could be even better than that. It could be $1 million buyer, a $2 million buyer, a $20 million buyer. The possibilities are endless for what can happen when you allow yourself to dream bigger and you write out exactly what that could look like for you. That's just an example. Probably everyone, I mean, very probably few of you are in real estate. If you are, honey, DM me, because I have stories for days and I'd love to share, you know, some tips for that as well. But this channel is not focused on that. This channel is focused on wellness and doing the inner work. And I just really believe that by doing the inner work, you can create the businesses that you truly desire, and that you don't have to stay at that 9-to-5 that you hate, or you don't have to do anything that you hate, because you know that you are worthy of so much more. Because I truly believe that we are all worthy of good things, and that good things can happen and will happen to all of us if we truly believe that we deserve it. And not only that, but there's no lack and limitations to good things happening. Like, they can happen to multiple people at once, and we all deserve for them to happen to us all. And the higher vibration we have about what we deserve, the more that we spread that to other people, and their vibration reaches a higher level, and we're all just vibrating at the highest level possible and just living our best life. And I truly believe that we can all have it. Everyone is an example of where you could be, whether they're here or up here. And I choose to focus on people who are up here, knowing that they are an example of me being able to have it too. Because resistance is just that. Resistance doesn't mean anything about who you are. It doesn't say anything about what you deserve. They're just challenges and roadblocks that we all experience. Just because you don't see it on someone's Instagram, or they don't talk about it on TikTok or the YouTube channel, doesn't mean that it's not happening. I like to be transparent about things happening in my life, but I don't also share every single thing. Like, I share what I choose to share, and I love that I'm able to share my challenges, hoping that it resonates with other people. But no one is obligated to share their challenges with us. We just have to remember that no one's life is perfect, but they're striving for more. They are getting through their challenges, so we can do it too. So I hope this episode was helpful for you, especially as we are, again, starting the new year, and those goals just tend to waver as we continue to go. Let your biggest focus this year always be on you. I'm so big on focusing on you, doing the inner work, and knowing that you deserve the best that life has to offer. And just that's it. It's that simple. It's that simple, but also it's hard when you don't actually feel that way. So let your goal this year to do the inner work, to know that you're worthy, and allow your life to flourish. If you love this episode, I would love a subscribe. If you're on my YouTube channel, if you're on my podcast, I think you can subscribe or follow depending on the platform, whether that's Spotify or Apple. I would love a 5-star rating and a like if you're on either platforms. And per usual, I'm so excited for this year. I'm so excited for what this year will bring. And I'm so glad that you guys tuned in, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.